Well, joining me now in the studio is the Glentoran Chief Executive, Stafford Reynolds. Stafford, what is the latest?
Well, Adrian, yes, it's just as you said there. Tomorrow, Thursday, the disciplinary sit and together with a number of other cases come to a decision as to what has really happened.
The players failed the test?
The player has failed the test. The player is of course aware of this, and he's contrite. He's apologised to the club. He's apologised to all the people associated with the club, the manager, the staff.
What's been the reaction of the club? What action will you take against this player?
Well, of course we're devastated. It's completely a bolt out of the blue, Adrian. It's a big disappointment to the club, there is no doubt about that. The action against the player is going to be severe. We will fine him very heavily, but we're responsible employers as well, and he is our employee, and we'll be standing by him and supporting him.
Some people would say that he should be sacked.
Well, yes, I can understand that, Adrian. That would be the reaction of people, but nonetheless, we have worked with the player. We've talked to him, we've spent some time with him. We have a good background staff at the Oval, including a doctor, and we will continue to support the player, and as a good employer would do.
Let's get it clear to us. Recreational drugs we're talking about?
That's it, yes, very much so, Adrian. It's while we won't want to trivialise any part of drug taking, nonetheless it is considered to be a recreational drug.
Yeah, for everybody who's watching tonight, it's not the image that Glentoran or indeed the Irish League football or local sport wants.
No, definitely not. It's a negative image. It's one that sadly it seems to be more and more in sport today, whether it be at local soccer level or indeed at Olympic Games level.
When you mentioned local soccer very briefly, should drugs testing now be involved in local soccer, which is clearly not at this stage?
Well, it's certainly something that I'd imagine that the authorities would look at. It's certainly moving into other sports as well. I don't see why local soccer should be any different.
Stafford, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
The sports governing body UEFA today confirmed to Newsline that the Glentoran midfielder failed a random drugs test after a recent European tie in Norway. Stephen Watson reports.
Rory Hamill, one of the Irish League's most talented players, was tested randomly after a European tie with Lillestrøm, and he failed the test after traces were allegedly found of a banned substance, which I understand to be cannabis. UEFA has described the offence as at the lower level of drug offences. Hamill, who earned one international cap against Canada, faces a ban from the game for anything up to a year. But as a first offender, the penalty is likely to be less severe. Neither Hamill nor Glentoran were available for interview today, but the club released this statement, indicating it was aware of a situation concerning the positive testing of a player. The club awaits confirmation from UEFA and will make a further statement at that stage. I also understand that Glentoran will stick by Rory Hamill, who faces another ban after being sent off for headbutting last Saturday against Glenavon. Stephen Watson, BBC News.
The club said a short time ago that UEFA are still considering the case. Hamill failed a drugs test after the European game with Lillestrøm. He tested positive for a banned substance and has been banned indefinitely by his own club and fined. Further details are expected to emerge at a Glentoran news conference tomorrow morning. He's sorry for having dabbled in drugs, and after the words of regret came a special message for the young fans.
I'd just like to send a message to young supporters that look up to me, that drugs is not the way for athletes or sportsmen to deal with this. I've also worked in the community with young kids beforehand, and hope that this situation doesn't prevent me doing so in the future.
The player has been banned by UEFA for a year from European competition, and the club has also slapped an indefinite ban on him. The manager and the board will review that. Roy Coyle not too happy with his player.
Everybody makes mistakes in life. Hopefully it's a one-off situation for Rory. I believe if you have made a mistake in life, you're given a chance. If Rory is given a chance and it does work out for him, if he ever does it again, there'll never be any recourse for him. Certainly it'll be a life ban from Glentoran Football Club. Hopefully he's learnt his lesson, and hopefully he'll become a better person for that as well.
Coyle knows the impact such a story can have on his club and indeed football. Hamill, the first soccer player here to fail a test. The manager believes there's a lesson in this for everyone.
There's no room in football or any sport for any illegal substance, and hopefully now that people will take stock of what has happened to one of our players. As you say, he's the first. He's got to live with that the rest of his life, his football life in particular. He's obviously going to come in for a lot of criticism, and rightly so, because he has taken an illegal substance. But to everybody else, that's a warning bell for you. Take heed and keep illegal substance out of any sport, irrespective of football.